Alright, Shalom. We are the Hebrew Israelites. We come out week in and week out to prophesy the downfall of this wicked society and the upliftment of you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, West Indians, and Haitians who are known biblically as the children of Israel, according to prophecy, according to truth, and most importantly, according to the Most High. So we're going to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory to YAHAWAH, BaHashem, YAHAWASHI, BaHashem, Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who are the elders of Yasha, and a sincere salutation to all you Akim who are preaching this word and believing this word in all truth and sincerity. And today we're going to go into the false image of Christ, man. Because the Lord didn't look like a pale devil, man. The Lord was a dark-skinned man from the tribe of Judah, man, who are the Negroes today. And we're breaking down strongholds. The Lord has raised up his prophets in the last days to expose you to the true nature of the Lord, man, and his prophecies and his judgment for this wicked society, man.
This is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 14, verse 8. But that which is made with hands is cursed, as well it as he that made it.
And that's the spirit, because they painted the Lord as a so-called white man who is the people of the Lord's curse unto judgment, man. You know, that's the spirit that the Lord had them do that, man, because they've condemned themselves with the same image that they went around the world preaching salvation about. That same image is going to condemn them, and it's condemning them now, man. It's starting with the Lord putting the spirit on the prophets to come out here and expose this devil for who he really is, man.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 14, verse 8. But that which is made with hands is cursed, as well it as he that made it, he because he made it, and it because being corruptible, it was called God.
Yeah, and Cesare Borgia, the second son of Pope Alexander VI, was a corruptible man. A man who had sex with his own sister, man, and murdered his brother. That's who they painted the image of the Lord after, man. A corrupt, foul being, man.
Verse 9. For the ungodly and his ungodliness are both alike hateful unto the Most High. For that which is made shall be punished together with him that made it.
Yeah, and the so-called white man put this image up, and he's going to be punished according to it, man. At the same time you were beating the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans back, you were preaching a false doctrine, and you painted the Lord as a false image, man, to establish your white supremacy, man. And that's what all these nations cleave unto, the so-called white man. They love him because he's in power right now. Yeah, especially the women. Chiefly the women of our nation, man, in the spirit of Eve, man. Joining in the coalition with the serpent again, man. The Lord is going to judge the ungodly, man. You got it all.
Fine. Verse 11. Therefore, even upon the idols of the Gentiles shall there be a visitation, because in the creature of the Most High they are become an abomination and stumbling blocks to the souls of men, and a snare to the feet of the unwise.
Yeah, and the painting the Lord as a so-called white man is a stumbling block unto the world, man. And it's chiefly a stumbling block unto you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, man. Because when you get on your knees and pray and see a so-called white man in your head, you're establishing white supremacy in your subconscious mind, man. Whether you like to admit it or not, you're worshiping your oppressor, man. Because biblically, the Lord didn't look like that, man. And then they say he looked Middle Eastern, like that's a race of people, man. That's a region, not a race, man.
Verse 12. For the devising of idols was the beginning of spiritual fornication, and the invention of them the corruption of life.
And you know what? Since the beginning, they've always created these idols, man. You got it, huh? You got it.
Yeah.
No, because you know, they've always established idols, man. It started with Ham, wicked ass, man. He established all of these idols, these pantheons of gods and their different purposes And it was all folly, man. Because they worship these things after the creation. Certain things in nature, they created a deity to deify certain things that the Lord created. Which in essence, they worship the creation more than the creator, man. And that's been going on since the beginning. But when you painted the Lord's only begotten son like a so-called white man, that was when you did it, man. That was when you went too far, man. And the Lord is going to punish the ungodly, man. First you painted the Lord that he looked like you, then you said he didn't exist at all, man. The Lord is going to judge this world, man. And the ones that were deceived by it, man. Because the Lord allowed these stumbling blocks so that you may be deceived, so that you may be destroyed, man. That's the Lord of the Bible, man. Not all hugs and kisses, man. The Lord ain't Santa Claus, man. The Lord ain't your Easter bunny, man. The Lord coming to put people to death, man.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 14, verse 13. For neither were they from the beginning, neither shall they be forever. For by the vain glory of men they entered into the world, and therefore shall they come shortly to an end.
Yeah, man, because men started to deify themselves, man, or deify the children that died. Caesar started to deify themselves, man. And the whole time, this is a vain man. It's it's a shell, man. Most of you people, man, are a shame and a sham to humanity, man. A waste of space, man. And the Lord has given this world stumbling blocks that they may be deceived so that he can destroy them, man. And Jesus Christos is a chief stumbling block, man.
Verse 15. For a father afflicted with untimely mourning, when he hath made an image of his child soon taken away, now honored him as a God, which was then a dead man.
The Lord, and the Lord is making all of this knowledge known, man, so people can be willfully ignorant, man. That they may be destroyed for being willfully ignorant, man. There's no cloak for your sins anymore, man.
Verse 15. For a father afflicted with untimely mourning, when he hath made an image of his child soon taken away, now honored him as a God, which was then a dead man, and delivered to those that were under him ceremonies and sacrifices. Thus, in process of time, an ungodly custom grown strong was kept as law. And graven images were worshipped by the commandments of kings.
And that goes into Serapis Christus too, man. Yeah, his son died and he deified his son, man. That's what happens, man. This world has been always engulfed in trying to be like the Most High, man. Trying to be like his children and trying to have the power of the Lord, man. And they make these deities and they create these idols, man, to have some form of godliness, man. But it's always on the left-hand side, man. And the Lord said it was not from the beginning, neither shall it be in the end, man. In the end, now it's the righteous turn to reign, man. Yeah. Shalom, man.
Verse 17. Whom men could not honor in presence because they dwelt far off. They took the counterfeit of his visage from far and made an express image of a king whom they honored, to the end that by this their forwardness they might flatter him that was absent as if he were present. Also, the singular diligence of the artificer did help to set forward the ignorant to more superstition.
And that's why they had Michelangelo, Leonardo da Vinci, the greatest so-called artists of that time, man, to paint these images, man. Because their skill helped to further the image, man. And the people being seduced in the spirit by these images, man. But the Lord made this purposely as a stumbling block, so in the end, the righteous who are going to preach this word and be outcast in this society were going to be raised up, and you were going to find out that the truth was with the men that you doubted from the beginning, man. Because the Lord always used the things that the world didn't deem beautiful or valuable, man.
I can say this real quick. But also to ordain that the two, to also one on the right hand side to seal the elect, but for prophecy's sake, according to Zechariah 13:8, there also has to be something out there to seal the 2/3 as well. It was already prophesied there's going to be a 2/3 and a 1/3. You know what I'm saying? So that Most High put the drunken wine out here to seal the 2/3, and then put the truth out here to seal that 1/3, man. The 144,000 in the mix, the multitude, man.
But because in the spirit, they've always done this, man. They've always cleaved unto the heathens' idols, man. Every time. And they knew they were Israel. So this time the Lord took the heritage and let them and gave them over to their folly, man. Because they've always been doing this. We were in the wilderness and the generation saw the miracles, man, and rebelled in sight of seeing miracles, man. Here we are in these last days not seeing any signs, and the Lord's putting the spirit on us to have faith and be diligent. But our nation saw the miracles, man, and still wanted to worship the idols. So the Lord took the heritage and let them go into the folly, man. Now you can be a heathen and be destroyed like them, man. That's a beautiful point the brother brought out, man.
Verse 19. For he, peradventure, willingly to please one in authority.
Peradventure means perhaps, man.
Willing to please one in authority, forced all his skill to make the resemblance of the best fashion. And so the multitude, allured by the grace of the work, took him now for a God, which a little before was but honored as a man.
Yeah, man, because for them to paint the Lord of man, for them to paint the only begotten Son as Cesare Borgia, man, that's an abomination. That's a filthy, disgusting lie, man. When you go into the history of this guy and what he actually did, man, that's a filthy, disgusting lie, man. And now they done tricked the whole world, and now they done got rid of the image, so now they don't even believe in the Lord. They don't believe in Jesus. Now they just believe in evolution, and Darwinism, which is a whole nother deity in itself, man.
They got the Jesus piece.
But that's Jake. Jake's mind is poison, man. Jake will have a Jesus piece and holler out Kemet, man. Or have a Jesus piece and say Wakanda forever, man.
Jesus piece and a dashiki.
Yeah, Jake tatting Wakanda on his lips and shit, man. A fantasy, something that the so-called white man made up for you to have in your mind as a fantasy place, as a go-to place in your mind of victory. And the Lord promised us a physical manifestation of victory, man. An actual victory, man. Jake is content here, man. That's why Jake got to be wiped out, man. He in the way, man. And let me disclaim it, 2/3 of Jake got to get wiped out because he in the way, man. The Lord has brought the elect back, the hopeful elect, man, back to their heritage, that they may be sealed. Lord willing, we endure that we may be sealed, man, and watch this destruction and not be a part of it, man.
Verse 21. And this was an occasion to deceive the world, for men serving either calamity or tyranny did ascribe unto stones and stocks the incommunicable name.
Yeah, man, because this image has deceived the whole world, man. This image has completely deceived the whole world. The doctrine of Christianity has deceived the whole world of the nature of the one they call God, man. They've created this doctrine where the Lord sends people to hell to burn forever, man. That the Lord destroyed the Tower of Babel, but now in the last days, everybody can have something similar to the Tower of Babel just as long as you say the name Jesus, man. When in actuality, the nature of the Lord is judgment, man. And the nature of the Lord is preference, man. People love the idea of God until preference comes in the picture. But you got a favorite shirt. You got all this preference in your life, but the Lord who created everything can't have a preference in his, man. But who are you to judge that, man? But in these last days, it's being known and it's being made manifest that the Lord is going to start judging this place. And the world can't perceive that they're being judged little by little. That's why the judgments are going even more extreme, man. Because they can't even recognize that the Lord is starting to visit this place, man.
Yeah, like I say this too, that's a beautiful point, because everybody got a favorite pair of something. I got a favorite pair of sneakers.
Yeah.
Doesn't necessarily mean that that pair was my first pair either. Because a lot of people try to say, oh, Israel came late. You know, Kemet, Egypt been here before. Nobody said Egypt ain't older than Israel. You know what I'm saying? But that doesn't change the fact that Israel is still beloved of the Most High, YAHAWASHI.
Well, those are pseudo philosophers anyway, because Egypt was not the first civilization, man. They got what they learned from Sumer, man, which was spoken of in the scriptures, man. But the whole the red man, the Edomites, were placed in this world to deceive this world, man, and the majority of the world has been deceived by his wine, man. So our people cleave onto the one of the first places that they were in captivity, unknowingly, man.
It's Isaiah chapter 29 and verse 22. Therefore thus saith the Lord, who redeemed Abraham concerning the house of Jacob, Jacob shall not now be ashamed, neither shall his face now wax pale.
Yeah, man. And in these last days, we not ashamed, man. The Lord has put the Spirit on the elect to raise up and boldly proclaim our heritage, man, in front of all these people, man. And not care about what these people think, man, because the Lord gave us the spirit of discernment, man. The children of light, man. Looking at the children of the night, man, and discuss, man. Because our people, this opportunity for salvation is only for our people, man. And they don't want it, man. They love this place and they love to cleave unto it, man, because they love disorder, man. They love convenient truths. They don't like any truth that causes them to be outside of their comfort zone, man. But that's why the Lord is going to put the Spirit on the elect to stand boldly, man, and to tell our enemies that they're going to be judged for what they've done to us, man.
Can I read that one more time?
You got it,
This is Isaiah 29 and 22. Once again, it says, therefore thus saith the Lord, who redeemed Abraham concerning the house of Jacob. Jacob shall not now be ashamed, neither shall his face wax pale. And that even cuts this image, man. The scripture says Jacob won't wax pale, so how much YAHAWASHI?
Khan.
You know?
Khan, that's the spirit. That's spirit, because this image, which was the subject of our lesson, is not how the Lord looked, man. And our nation was never going to wax pale completely, man. Now you have some of our nation that's spread out amongst these other nations, but as a majority, the Jews, the so-called Negroes, are the Jews, man, are the tribe of Judah. Benjamin and Levi were also known as Jews in the time of the Romans, man, because our land was Judea, man. But the Lord said that our face wasn't going to wax pale completely, man. That's how you know Amalek is not the Israelites, man. Amalek has no affiliation with the true biblical Israelites, man. But he's an imposter. The worst kind of devil, man. The devil that'll steal your heritage, man.
This is Daniel chapter 10, verse 5. Then I lifted up my eyes and looked, and behold, a certain man clothed in linen, whose loins were girded with fine gold of Uphaz. His body also was like the beryl, and his face as the appearance of lightning, and his eyes as lamps of fire, and his arms and his feet like in color to polished brass, and his voice and the voice of his words like the voice of a multitude.
Yeah, and that's the same description that you get in Revelations, the 1st chapter, man. Showing you that this book has been sealed, but now it's been opened up, and it's a puzzle, man. You got to take one piece from here and one piece from there to put it together and link it up, man. But the Lord did that so that the elect would be able to put it together, and the rest of you people who picked up the Lord's book would not understand it, man. You're going to find out that the Lord placed these stumbling blocks, man. The Lord said, is there evil in the city, and the Lord has not done it, man. They got this image of the Lord only doing good, man. The Lord does evil too. Anybody that drop is on the consent of YAHAWASHI, man. The Lord kills and makes alive, man. And the Lord is about to start bodying people, man. It's happening now, but it's going to be an extreme number of bodies that the Lord start catching, man. All that free before 11:30 going to turn into body drops, man. You got it.
This is Daniel chapter 12 and verse 4. But thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book, even to the time of the end. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased.
Because even now the book is unsealed, but it's sealed to the majority of these people. We're speaking the words of life, and they don't even discern it, man. That's how you know this is the congregation of the dead, man. This is the valley of the shadow of death, man. Our people are consumed with folly, man. social media, reality TV shows. Their life revolves around nothing, man. Don't stand for nothing, don't want nothing, man. Content being under their oppressors, man. Where the Lord put the spirit on the hopeful elect to come out of that spirit, man. Not to be content with the condition of our people, man. Our people are destroyed and our people is out here drinking Hennessy, having a good ass time, man. Like nothing is wrong. Folly, man. You're gonna be destroyed for that, man.
Oh, this is Romans chapter 1, start at verse 17. For therein is the righteousness of Yahawah revealed from faith to faith, as it is written, the just shall live by faith. Verse 18, for the wrath of Yahawah is revealed from heaven against all ungodliness and unrighteousness of men who hold the truth in unrighteousness, because that which may be known of Yahawah is manifest in them, for Yahawah hath showed it unto them. Right? I'll jump down to verse 26. For this cause Yahawah gave them up unto vile affection, for even their women did did change the natural use into that which is against nature. But just the Most High gave them up unto vile affection.
Yeah, because our people, the righteousness was made manifest to our people through us getting the covenant, man. Through the Lord placing his election upon our people, man. His favor upon our people. That can clearly be seen even in the times of our captivity, man. But they despise their own blessing, man. That's a dishonorable son. That's a dishonorable daughter, man. You got to chop them down, man. That's why the Lord said 2/3 of the nation of Israel are going to be cut off and die, man. Because they don't even love their own heritage, man. They cleave unto a heritage that are vanity, man. They cleave unto the so-called white man, and he the one actually put his hands on you, man. But let Tyrone around the corner beat your sister up, man. It's on for life with him. But the so-called white man done destroyed generations, man. Generations on top of generations of our people, and Jake don't got no problem with it, man. Jake see the so-called white man and play nice, man. But let him see Tyrone that owe him $2, man. He ready to put hands on him, man. That's the nature of our people, man. That's why 2/3 of our people gotta go, man. But they gonna get their judgment. But the heathens are gonna be judged as well, man, for putting us in this position, man. And that's the power of the Lord, that he could put the spirit on the heathens to do something to us and judge the heathens for doing it, man. That shows preference, man. The Lord ain't how you want him to be. He's how he is, man. And he's not a man that he should lie or repent.
That's why he told Moses to tell the people that I am sent you. Right. You know what I'm saying? That's heavy. He said, I am that I am, not who we say he is to be.
Right. Like the Lord stand on his word, man. He ain't changing it for nobody. No feelings, nothing. Imagine him telling the prophets, look, you going into slavery too. Telling the prophets, look, you gonna lose your heritage too.
You're gonna be killed.
Yeah. And then you're gonna have to prophesy the uttermost ends of the earth, man. When the apostles saw YAHAWASHI, they were like, man, all right, the kingdom on now. All right, we about to get it now. He back. He done died. He done got up. It's time to get it, man. It's time. Are you gonna restore the kingdom now? And they didn't even know that. They were gonna have to go through generations. That's the Lord, man. So if he did that to us, imagine what he gonna do to the heathens, man. We had to wait for our piece of the pie, man.
That spirit, I'm about to say that I was being him just talking before camp started. When the apostle asked him, he said, is you finna restore the kingdom to Israel? He was like, look, only my father knows. Don't worry about that. Go teach the gospel right now. They ain't know it's gonna be generations and generations. He told them, look, don't worry about that. Just go push that word.
That's the spirit, man. You got a precept up?
This is Sirach chapter 16, verse 1. Desire not a multitude of unprofitable children, neither delight in ungodly sons.
And the Lord give us advice, but he practiced what he preached, man. The Lord's practicing what he preaches. He's telling us not to desire undesirable sons, man, or not to care for the undesirable sons, man. Because he's not going to do that, man. He's not going to show pity for Jake out here, man. Jake holler Black Lives Matter on Monday, and he out here in the club on Saturday, man. Folly, man. Folly, man. That's why the Lord judging it. It hurt to see our people get judged to a certain extent, but it's necessary, man. Every time you start to feel any kind of way about the Lord judging, the Lord show you a reminder of Jake's wickedness. Hand in hand, man. I'm telling you, man. You got it.
Hosea chapter 4. Oh, you want to finish, bro?
Yeah, it's locked in.
Sirach 16:1. Desire not a multitude of unprofitable children, neither delight in ungodly sons. Though they multiply, rejoice not in them, except the fear of the Lord be with them. Trust not thou in their life, neither respect their multitude, for one that is just is better than 1,000. And better it is to die without children than to have them that are ungodly.
Isaiah 1 and 5 real quick.
Can we just bring this up real quick? Hosea chapter 1 verse 9. Then said Yahawah, call his name Lo Ami, for ye are not my people, and I will not be your power.
Because it was always all or nothing with YAHAWASHI. The Lord wasn't satisfied with just a few good men in the nation of Israel, man, because he had a bigger plan for our nation, man. He needed the whole nation to be righteous, man. That's why the Lord said if the first covenant was perfect, it would not be no room for the second. Because even in the first covenant, we weren't perfect, but the Lord gave us a loophole to get out of our imperfections through the sacrifices. But the Lord always meant for us to be perfect, man, flawless, man. Because he's flawless, man. You got Isaiah 1 and 5?
Yeah. This is Isaiah chapter 1 verse 5. Why should ye be stricken any more? Ye will revolt more and more. The whole head is sick and the whole heart faint.
Because here it is, we are literally in captivity as a destroyed nation in a so-called civilized nation, society, man. Literally destroyed, man. And Jake is just having a good time in his prison, man. Jake done turned his prison to a home, and he don't desire to get no parole. He don't want to show up to parole meetings. He don't care about a release date. Our nation is institutionalized, man. So the Lord saying, why should I even keep you here anymore? I might as well just put you to death. You ain't got no use. You're not even accepting the punishment, man. You out here having a good time, and I put you in this position to be punished. You the bottom out of all nations, man. All these nations laugh at you, and you having a good time, man. Talking about Wakanda forever, man. The Lord gonna destroy our 2/3 of our nation, man, because that's folly, man. The Lord gave us a beautiful heritage, and Jake don't even want to be rehabilitated, man. Here it is. This is mercy. We should have been utterly destroyed. It said if not for the elect, we would be at Sodom and Gomorrah, which is completely destroyed, man. The Lord's giving us mercy by putting us in captivity to meditate on our wickedness. And only the hopeful elect is doing that, man. The entire nation should be grieving, man. We on the bottom, man. But Jake is all about self now, man. Selfies. The selfie generation, man. All about selfies.
I say this to her. They also still waiting for a handout from Esau, because it's like, I can't understand how you got, you got Jake out here, you know, that's so-called woke or conscious, trying to push some kind of truth to our people, right? But here it is, a white man, a fucking Edomite, makes a movie, and you got Jake flocking to that shit left and right. So it's like, but when you have familiar faces trying to teach you some kind of knowledge, you rejected it. But here it is, a fucking pasty-ass white man could make a Wakanda movie, and Jake is showing up wearing fucking Back to America fucking. Like we in the kingdom. They done got a VIP ticket into Zion or something, man. That's what it takes. It takes for a fucking Edomite to tell you your culture, your history, for you to get motivated. Yo, Jake is finished, man. But that show you that Jake is completely down with white supremacy. Jake is defeated, man. Even when they think they not. Yeah. They still push the shit subconsciously. Jake is defeated, man. Jake loves his oppressor, man. And he might not admit it, but he loves his oppressor, man. Jake is in love with his oppressor, man. Here it is. The so-called white man had to create, in his mind, he had to imagine a place for you niggas to have an enjoyment of rulership. And then on Monday, you back to work playing the game. But when the prophets are out here on the highways and hedges telling Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, you're the greatest people on the face of the earth, this is how you know it's Israel, man.
The only nation that'll rebel against being claimed the best people on the planet Earth, man. They rebel against being the best on the earth, man.
That's a stony ass heart, man.
That show you how destroyed our people are. That show you our people don't value themselves, man. As a nation, our people have low self-esteem as a nation. When the Lord said the whole head is sick, as a body, as a nation of people, our mind is done, man. The Lord had to sever the hopeful elect from the rest of the body, man. That's why he said, be ye holy as I am holy, for I have severed you from the people. As a nation, we were separated, but now the Lord has to take a piece of that body that he separated and preserve that and destroy the rest, because it's done, man. And that's because our nation destroyed, man. They out here on drugs trying to escape their reality, man. That shit is, man.
This is Jeremiah chapter 5, verse 3. O Lord, are not thine eyes upon the truth? Thou hast strengthened them, but they have not grieved. Thou hast consumed them, but they have refused to receive correction. They have made their faces harder than a rock. They have refused to return.
And now the Lord about to pull out the big toys, man. Since you don't get it on the little belt, the Lord about to pull out that big strap, man. Now it's time to make the belt bigger, man. And now the Lord's really gonna bring grievousness to our nation, man. The heathens are gonna be judged, man, but that's a light thing, man. The heathens were always meant to be under our nation, man. But our nation is going, 2/3 of our people are going to be destroyed for their insolence, man. For their disobedience, man. But the so-called white men and all these other nations, y'all not going unchecked. All the slavery's coming back on your head. You going into slavery. Thus saith YAHAWASHI. And it's a shame, man. Here it is, our nation is following after a nation that's destined to be exterminated, man. They want to be just like a cave beast, man. A nation that was destined to be just exterminated, man.
I'm gonna read this. So individual chapters of the Bible are like... Not asking a question.
What?
So individual chapters of the Bible are related to individual...
Genesis 49 is related to this sign.
It's related to this sign?
Yes. Israel was a man.
Are these individual chapters of the Bible?
These are not individual chapters of the Bible. These are sons of the man that they called Israel. So he had 12 sons, and he told his sons where they would be in, where they would be at, and what would happen to them in the last days. So Genesis 49 explains.
Christ is Satan in this portrayal?
Well, Christ didn't look like that. Christ didn't look like a white man. Christ was a dark-skinned man.
Yeah, I agree with that. In Israel.
Yeah, well, he was a dark-skinned man. He wasn't Middle Eastern. He was a dark-skinned
right. I mean,
man.
Middle Eastern is dark-skinned, right? I mean,
Middle Eastern is a direction. It's not a skin.
Yeah, it's a region.
Right, but with the sun, like the complexity of the sun,
Alright, can I ask you a question?
Yeah, absolutely.
The East Indians, right? Are they dark-skinned?
I mean, I'm not sure.
They are.
They are dark-skinned.
But I'm just telling, like, from my understanding of the Eastern world, the sun, like the complexity of the sun and the intensity of the sun and the melatonin that it reacts with, inherently creates a dark complexion.
All right, we're going.
Eskimos live. Where do Eskimos live?
They live in
Furthest.
Wait. What's happening?
So the sun.
No,
he said really. He's listening.
Tell me. Yeah,
The sun has nothing to do with the skin color to that effect. Now, when you have melanin, the sun has nothing to do with your melanin levels on that level, where to completely rip away melanin out of your body to look pale. You get what I'm saying? You do, yes, you get darker, you get lighter depending on
What
sun as
is
well.
this religion? What do you guys do?
Right.
Okay. So that
One at a time.
Are you guys religion?
One at a time. You're dealing with him.
I'm just
in
curious.
a certain way that is fostering
Right. When you're talking about as a nation of people, right?
Right.
Okay. For, let's say, this is the Lord, right? They ignorantly called Jesus Christ, right?
ignorantly, right?
Because his name isn't Jesus. That's a title. It's Jesus the Christ.
Okay.
That's a title. But look, what I'm trying to get to show you, get you to understand is that he was a Jew, right?
Right.
The scriptures talk about the Jews who are dark-skinned race of people, right?
Yeah.
Is it possible to take a race of people in only 2,000 years and completely strip them out? According to the modern day science.
I mean, biologically, yeah. If you're related to modern
According
day
to
science.
modern day science and evolution, I'm asking in 2,000 years.
I'm not familiar with the information if it is.
No, it's not. It's impossible. You can't rip melanin out of a race of people in just 2,000 years. Even if the theory of evolution.
Okay, well, I mean, that's obviously a skewed representation of what the Christ is. Like, it's obviously just the Western world.
That's completely opposite. That's not just a
opposite
skew
of
what
what the Christ was represented
what he actually looked like when he walked the earth, because he was a physical human being.
Right, yeah.
So a lot of people like to sit there and say that he had no color, he was every color. Right. To see somebody rainbow color.
But I mean, this is just the Western world that's dominated by a lighter skin.
It's not just the Western world. The whole world believes.
But the Western world was, if Jesus was claiming what he was claiming in the Eastern world, he would have been accepted, because in the Eastern world, everyone knows that we are all the sons of God.
Well,
but in the
not,
Western world, the Pharisees said, no, that's not.
Matthew 15:24. Because the Lord didn't come for every nation. He never said that he came for every nation.
Propagated Western. You just propagated the Western doctrine by saying what you said. That he said that all the sons of God. Now in the Bible, that's not biblical. That's what they say.
Let's get it. Matthew 15:24.
This is Matthew.
Not according to my mind, it's according to the scripture.
This is Matthew chapter 15, verse 24. But he answered and said, I am not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel.
That's what the Lord came for. The Messiah was always spoken of by the Israelites.
That's open to interpretation.
That's out of his mouth. How do you interpret
I have a question. Where is
That's
this
One more time. One more time.
This is Matthew chapter 15, verse 24.
I just want to know, like,
But I'm going to start at 23.
are they Old
But
Testament?
he answered her not a word, and his disciples came and besought him, saying, Send her away, for she crieth after us. But he answered and said, I am not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel.
Okay, the point that the brother is trying to make by reading the scriptures, that you said that it's open to interpretation, right? It's because you
But that wasn't my initial. What's your initial question? I don't recall my initial proposition. My initial proposition was essentially that he was claiming he was the Son of God, but in the East, if he claimed that same proposition, that the Eastern world would have accepted that as a way of life. But in the Western world, where the Pharisees dominated, and they said, what was what?
I was raised Catholic my entire life.
Like Western of China, Western of Asia,
and
the Eastern world, or the Western world, the Pharisees said, what was what? Yeah, at that point in time.
My mother is a
when Jesus came out,
Oh, I didn't know where you were.
like she goes to church.
No, I'm listening to you. I'm listening to you. No, I'm listening to you.
What she does.
No, I'm listening to you.
Fair. That's not.
The Western world
I'm sorry, you're not a good
contradicts, not necessarily contradicts, the Western world doesn't accept that.
Like you're not. That is not.
At that time.
So
But I mean,
first
it's still in this
Okay,
time.
all right, I hear you.
So I'm trying to find like I don't believe in as of right now I call myself a Jew. I don't know.
I'm with Hannah, my girl Hannah.
So I want to know what everyone else believes, so maybe I'll find my way.
So what's
Okay. Thank you guys.
Yeah, but that shows you that the indoctrination of these people, man. The first thing that they said was that they got offended at the image. Then when you break down that the Lord didn't look like
My only claim was that the Western world, the Pharisees prosecuted Jesus because he was claiming to be the Son of God. And in the Western world, that's not accepted. At least in that time. When Socrates was crucified, all of the Western, the leaders of thought, if you will.
Well, the Pharisees were dealing particularly with Israel. The Pharisees had power inside of Israel.
Right.
Rome was ruling the world at that time.
Right.
Rome's philosophy ruled the world. The Pharisees' beef with the Lord was that if people followed YAHAWASHI, or the one you call Jesus, that they would lose their position under Roman authority. In Israel, in the land of Judea, Rome had given the Pharisees certain privileges.
Right.
And they were in charge to control the
Okay,
nation.
so you're saying it's a proxy.
He's going to read a scripture because
So it's it's a proxy. So not necessarily the Pharisees were in control, but by Rome's control and by proxy, the Pharisees were then in control. Because I know I read the verse where Jesus went into the Pharisees and they said, "I have nothing to execute."
Listen to the scriptures.
I'm listening.
Let us get the scripture. Bring it out.
Hebrews chapter 7, verse 14. For it is evident that our Lord sprang out of Judah, of which tribe Moses spake nothing concerning priesthood.
Okay.
No, wait. I missed the last
It says
I didn't miss it. I didn't understand.
that our Lord
You know what the precept is? Where it says that it's needful that a man should die for that the whole nation not perish.
So you got to understand what was going on at that time. The one that they called Jesus Christ came out of the tribe of Judah. Moses spake nothing concerning priesthood of the tribe of Judah. The Levites, which were the Sadducees and the Pharisees, they had a big issue with this man coming in.
Yeah, John 11.
This doctrine, and he didn't even come
John 11 and 48.
He wasn't a priest. At the time, he came from the tribe of Judah, which is the line of the kings.
So Moses wasn't prophesying.
No, I said Moses spake nothing concerning priesthood. Moses came from the tribe of Levi, and the tribe of Levi was
11 and 48.
of the nation of Israel. All the other 11 tribes, when they committed sin, what they did, they had to come and lay hand on the priest. The priest then transferred that sin from the nation of Israel onto a bullock, and sometimes they'll slaughter it, and sometimes they'll let it away, right? But when YAHAWASHI, Jesus, so-called, who they ignorantly called Jesus Christ, when he appeared on the scene, he was that lamb, that final lamb without blemish, right? So when you made the statement to say that they were the high priest, or just
that one man should die,
that's not the case.
the whole nation not perish.
If you read
It's like 11:48 to 49.
Listen, the priests of the council, they knew what was going on. They knew, or at least Caiaphas did. He knew that was not him. And so-called, who they called Jesus Christ, was the Messiah. He had to die. When they laid hands on him,
Oh, it's 50? Shalom.
because he was that.
Hey, shalom, shalom.
I have a question.
The difference between his salvation.
You dropped many times.
I have a question. So do you believe in what the original
Got it?
out of me, right?
Yeah.
The original. I want to know, like,
We're still paying that price.
what like religion do you consider yourself?
To your original question, it was a proxy. So Rome had given the Pharisees a certain position, and yet the one that they call Jesus, that they ignorantly called Jesus, he was coming in, and they were afraid that if all the people followed him, they would lose their position. Let's get now. We're gonna get it out of the scripture.
Herod.
I'm talking about the common Christian. Okay, gotcha.
Is this all Old Testament or
No, we're reading in the New Testament.
Okay.
You got it.
This is John chapter 11. You start at verse 48. It says, if we let him thus alone, all men will believe on him, and the Romans shall come and take away both our place and nation.
So he said that Rome was gonna. This is Pharisees consulting with themselves. Now, as the brother brought out, Herod was the one that they officially gave the title of being an overseer of Judea. He was overseer of Judea, so to speak. The Pharisees had control of the people. They had the hearts of the people. So they were afraid that if the Lord, if people started believing on the Lord, that they would lose their position. That's why he said Rome would take us away. They'll take away our power.
You watch that show 70.
Jump on the first 50. Just keep going.
70.
Yeah, you can go over it one more time.
Netflix 70.
Yeah, that's right. This is John 11 and 48. If we let thus alone, all men will believe on him, and the Romans shall come and take away both our place and nation. Verse 50. Nor consider that it is expedient for us that one man should die for the people, and the whole nation perish not.
Because they were afraid that they were going to lose the province of Judea. So
Pharisees were the proxy of the Roman Empire.
they were afraid that if the Lord, if the people, the common people of the land of Judea cleaved unto the Lord when they called Jesus Christ, that they were going to lose their position of power. Because if Rome saw that they had no influence, Rome was removed.
So it's an execution of an uprising against the Roman Empire.
In essence, they were afraid that they were going to lose power.
Right.
They were afraid that they were going to lose the order that Rome had given them privilege to have Judea. They were afraid that if the Lord came, he was going to destroy the order that they created. But he did. He did. He did.
That what they were saying about what was true and about what the truth was is not representative.
Well, when he was explaining to the common people, was that the new covenant was starting to be established, and that the law was not. The first covenant was still in terms of people lost in the best of their ability, but the second covenant was coming so that the Gentiles.
And that's the Holy Spirit. Is that the second covenant is the Holy Spirit?
And the Holy Spirit is the spirit of charter.
Right.
The spirit of prophecy. Yeah. And what happened? That happened because the Gentiles in the Testament, the Israelites didn't know they were Israelites, or they were keeping up customs. That's not a promise. It's a promise that the Lord gave Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, was that their seed was going to inherit the land of Israel, and they were going to rule over the nation.
This is the thing about the New Testament too, is that because when he read the scripture about the lost sheep of the house of Israel, you asked and said, oh, that's based on our own interpretation. But it's not, because you got to understand what happened prior.
What tribe was it?
Matter of fact,
but my question is like all of these like you will not understand verses of the Bible unless you reference back to something that was referenced to an earlier chapter.
That's correct. That's why the scriptures tell you that in Isaiah 28. And precept must be upon precept, line upon line, here a little and there a little. So what you said is exactly correct. Okay? But that's what I'm trying to show you is that the reason why the scriptures call them the lost sheep of the house of Israel, because Israel was dispersed among the nations. You have to remember that's one of the curses that was going to befall the nation of Israel, that they would be scattered from one end of the earth onto the other. So when Jesus Christ, so-called Jesus Christ, came, he was fulfilling the prophecy of the Lord gathering those Israelites back out of that mind state they're in, and literally that land as well. Okay? Ezekiel 36.
This is Jeremiah chapter 17, verse 4. And thou, even thyself, shalt discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee, and I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not, for ye have kindled a fire in my anger, which shall burn forever.
So that was the Lord's judgment for his nation, the nation of Israel. That was Jeremiah at that time talking to the Israelites that were getting ready to go into the Babylonian captivity. He was giving them a prophecy that in the future, because when they went into Babylonian captivity, they knew who they were.
But generally the prophecies were incited by some kind of outreach. Right, by the acacia, at least in reference to Moses. And in modern science, the acacia is psychedelic.
I see where you're going. Well, I understand what you're saying, but the thing about this book is that it's undeniable that there's prophecies in here that came to pass verbatim.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
But my question is the substrate, is the way in which it was facilitated. And in Moses' case, the acacia tree has been scientifically linked in modern science to contain DMT. Right, right. And I'm sure there's particular verses that show that Moses went to the acacia tree and then came back to his people and said a certain prophecy. But mine is a substrate. And mana in the Bible is mana. It's
bread without yeast.
But there's many references in the Bible that said it was decayed and it was eaten by bugs and
that happened because they were only supposed to grab a certain amount, and when they grabbed more than they were supposed to, the maggots and the worms.
Maggots, that's the word I was looking for.
Yeah, but that was because they were being disobedient. They were only supposed to pick up a certain
maggots only came because they were disobedient?
Because they picked up more than they were supposed to.
They didn't supposed to last till the morning. They left it overnight.
But whether you believe that he was influenced by anything, the prophecies are what's meant to speak in these times. The reason that people don't understand God is because they feel like it's a fairy tale. But what they don't understand is that we're talking about the highest intellectual being that ever existed.
Right.
And what he's done is put things in a way that we can understand them as humans. Like the Christian church doesn't teach the Lord in his true essence. Like they'll teach you that Satan and the Lord are having this beef, and this is what we have right now. We're in the middle of a crossfire, and that's not true.
Okay,
the Lord say, I make evil, I do good, I make peace, and I create evil. The Lord say he does both, and that's a balanced power. If you do what he says, he blesses you. If you don't, he curses you, and that's what he did to his
So he curses you though. That's like, I mean, I'm sure it's just a definitional term made upon that. It's like,
but what you gotta understand, is that
every action
but you've grown up.
energy cannot go anywhere. So
Exactly,
modern
but it has
science
to come
backs
from
that.
somewhere. It has to come from
Right.
somewhere, which is why.
But isn't that an individual interpretation of the human experience that says this is good, this is evil? It's,
all right,
and then it's just
that's a fair argument.
It's a faith-based equation that
That's
says
a fair argument. Where the fair argument leaves the interpretation of the highest entity is the prophecy. Because if he's above time, he can tell you what's going to happen in the timeline. And what we're telling you is that, according to prophecy, America is falling, and it's mystery Babylon. It's going to be destroyed.
America's definitely falling.
It's going to be destroyed, and once it's destroyed, it's going to be destroyed by thermonuclear destruction.
Of course. But I mean,
Before that happens, there's going to be a mark of the beast. You've heard of the mark of the beast, right?
I have.
Well, in modern times, it's going to be the RFID microchip. It's in your debit card now, but eventually they're going to move that technology and put in you.
But isn't that a human interpretation of the current context?
Well, we'll see. That's the prophecy.
That's what I'm saying though. It's a faith-based prophecy that says that the RFID is based on the current context.
Well, that's what I'm telling you. It's based on this context. But it says.
But can't you apply that to every other time?
No, you can't.
The Great Depression, you couldn't apply that to any.
Because the mark was an incision.
There was an economic downfall. There was a human race that was down. And like the RFID is just an attribution of some kind of technology that tracks.
RFID literally stands for radio frequency identifier device.
And the Hebrew word for mark is karagma. The Greek word is karagma, which is an incision. So it's not talking about paper dollars. It's talking about actually being put inside of your body.
But the same operational case was going down in their time, right? With the transition in currency.
Well, what incision did they have?
But it doesn't necessarily have to be an actual situation.
But no, but that's the thing though. When you read this New Testament, you got to remember that it's translated from the Hebrew and the Greek. So we go into the Greek and into the Hebrew to get the original meaning and understanding of what that scripture is talking about. Now today is the time where you're starting to see people like, and what's that club in Sweden? Where the membership, the Baja Club, they have to have an implantable chip. There's jobs right now forcing their employees to chip themselves.
Isn't that kind of obscure? Like,
No, it's prophecy coming to pass. It's really happening.
There's a company in Wisconsin. They made their employees get the chip in their hand.
Right.
That didn't happen during
but that's a product of trying to increase efficiency, right? They can put it up, like you can look at it and say, no,
listen, in China, everybody paying for things with their phone over there in China. It's not using cash.
Well, see, that's going to be the argument until it's going to be the argument. That's going to be the argument until it happens. It's always going to be interpretation until it happens. And then when it happens, you got
we're coming from a spiritual aspect as well.
You got 13.
This is Revelations chapter 13, verse 16. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads.
Now, like we said before, the Greek word is karagma, which means incision.
And that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that have understanding count the number of the beast. For it is the number of a man and his number is 603 score is 6.
All right, now check this out. I'll show you a small example of that, what he just said. Can you go back to the part where it says a man shall not buy or sell?
Verse 17, and that no man might buy or sell, saith that he had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name.
All right, buy, and it says no man shall not buy nor sell, right? Right now the RFID chip is inside your debit cards, right? When any of you guys go to 7-Eleven, right, and you try to swipe, what happens?
Can't do it.
You can't do it, right? It asks for the chip, right? You cannot swipe anymore. Now, what happens now when they say we don't want a debit card? That RFID chip that's in your debit card has to be inside your hand now. You can't even insert the debit card in there. Because that's why we moved it. That's exactly. And look, he asked a very good question. He said, how do you get around that? Through this faith in YAHAWASHI, the power of this Bible, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. That's how we circumvent this. Isaiah 33:6, wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability at our times, and the fear of the Lord is his treasure. You think that's how you circumvent this? Because what you got to understand is that the powers that be that run this earth today were ordained by the Most High to run that, to run this earth. You see what I'm saying? Go ahead.
For years, they've been programming everybody for years, right? Like in New York, years ago when you went through, when you crossed over the Manhattan Bridge or the Prospect Bridge, you had maybe one easy pass lane and the other lanes was cash or tokens. Now when you go through there, there's no cash lanes. Everything is easy pass. You see what I'm saying? So for years, they've been programming everybody. Conditioning to over time.
Right.
So everything just don't happen right then and there. They program you. That's why they inserted Bitcoin right now, which is digital currency. Now let me ask you a question. How do you spend digital currency?
Socially accepted value.
How do you spend it?
Socially accepted value. The same way you spend a dollar. A dollar is socially accepted.
Yeah, but that's a physical thing that you can
but there's also the technological piece of a Bitcoin is also physical in a sense.
Have you seen an actual Bitcoin?
But I mean, have you seen an actual dollar? The dollar's just a piece of paper.
Right, but it's tangible. It's
socially accepted. If I handed you a piece of paper that was printed with George Washington on it, the only reason you accept it is because you're socially accepted and George Washington.
But you're missing the mark though. How do you spend digital currency?
I mean, it's just a transaction in a different substrate. It's like
exactly. So how? If it's digital,
it's just transition.
how do you spend it?
It's just transitioning into a different substrate. Right.
Right. He's going around the question.
But the same way, I can ask you, how do you spend a dollar? You hand me a piece of paper.
Right. So you're answering the right.
How do you tangibly have a
You're saying with the dollar, like you're physically doing something with
right.
It's a physical cryptocurrency. You don't see anything happen. I'm technologically handing you some bit of currency. Which can be interpreted as physical.
In what form?
It's physical in the sense of computational terms that if I'm handing you 0.0% of a Bitcoin, it technologically has a value the same way in which socially the dollar bill that I'm handling you has a value.
That's semantics. Yeah. That's semantics.
It's not semantics. Semantics is meaning. Syntax is the actual.
You're doing this gray area thing where he's asking you, what's a physical way to transition to make a transaction with a digital currency?
I mean, it's smart.
And the obvious answer is there's no physical, tangible process.
Right. So the same reason that justifies my Bitcoin transaction. Does it not? I'm not trying to obscure. I'm just trying to understand for myself that I am operating under the assumption that when I transfer Bitcoin to you, it's the same transaction that happens when I hand you a dollar bill. It's a socially.
So basically, you're physically. If you transferred, but this one.